Oh, what's going on, YouTube? It's Donnie B all day, bringing you today. Slip the box. The Becker BK2. Here's the box, and here's the nut. I already took it out of the box. I said try to save some time. The Becker BK2. Holy moly, that thing's in there. Oh, it's been sitting here a long time waiting to be reviewed. I've had this thing in the needs to be reviewed box for months. I mean, I'm gonna actually show you guys something. I'm gonna show you something. Check this out. I open up this, right? That box down there, that entire shelf up there. I got some more randos up here. All that stuff is just waiting to be reviewed. And every week I have new stuff coming in. So it's like a never-ending thing here. Some of you guys are saying, hey man, keep making videos. Well, I have to because I am freaking loaded with blades. So let's go over this Becker. Let's see if it, oh man, you hear that click? So it really came tight, this Kydex sheath, which the sheath is built, you hear that snap. The sheath is built very, very well. One thing I like about it is that the mount is ambidextrous. I do like that. What I hate, and this is like a lot on cold steel too, is this. I like it when they make a stiff belt loop, even if it's going to be that nylon and polyester or whatever, as long as it's stiff. The good thing is you have a snap. So let me turn that snap sideways. So with the snap on there, now it's not going anywhere. But what if you don't want to ride the snap because you need quick deployment? Then you have this thing that's going to be doing this on your leg while you're walking around. Annoying. That's the only thing I don't like about the sheaths on either these or the cold steels, is just that flimsy portion there. Outside of that, you have lashing points everywhere. You have leg tie downs. You have areas to mount ferro rods and mag strips and strikers and anything that you want to put on there. You have the ability to put on there, which is great. This, coming off the belt, you aren't getting a quick deployment. You're going to be jacking your pants up by trying to get it out. That's one thing. Retention is good. Too much retention, not too good. But this thing's awesome. So I have all the stats over here. But before we get into it, just want to give you a quick peek. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. That saber grind on these Beckers is just, I mean, it's beautiful. Remember, the steel on these knives is almost unmatched. They do every bit of 1095 Crovan that comes out of K-Bar is just great. The problem I always have with K-Bar is that their handles suck. It's not even that hard for me to turn my hand on it. Why? Because these crappy, really slick plastic grips. And then everybody says, oh yeah, but man, you could throw some tens racket tape, or you can do this. A perfect knife comes perfect. When you buy a knife stock from the store, it should come in a way that you grab it, you take it out of the sheath, and you go, that's amazing. These knives are so close to that's amazing. This exact scale shape, if they redid this scale in like a micarta, then holy crap, you're talking about a totally different thing. Now it's not going to be sliding all over the place. It's not going to be slick. And it's not going to be this crappy plastic. It's the one thing that bugs me. I mean, look at how well contoured this thing. It's shaped beautifully, but it's a slick, crappy, awful plastic. Horrible handle designers between the round stacked leather K-bars, horrible grips with the giant frickin' two heavy pommels at the end, all the way to this garbage plastic BK scale. I hate them. I hate from here back. This knife is great as far as the tang. The tang is wonderful. The skull crusher at the end is great. The giant lanyard hole is perfect. It's the material of the handle, or when you're talking about the other K-Bar series, the stacked leather, it's just the fact that there's no shape to them. Even the rubber ones that are like the stacked leather, they're just round. Bugs the hell out of me that they can make these parts of the knife so amazing that they're unstoppable. But the other half of the knife, they just go, let's just throw some plastic smooth scales on there. And that way we can get people to buy all the custom stuff. Well, that's great, but you really should just make them better to start. So, the BK2. Let's get into it. We have a 1 pound weight, and you could, it's a solid pound. It's awesome. I like that. I'm not against heavy knives because I don't have girl arms, but sweet, except for you girls who have awesome arms. I should have said wimpy arms, not girl arms. I know some girls who are strong. Overall length is 10.5 inches. Let's see. It says grind is flat, but that's a saber grind. Let's see. Obviously, country of origin, United States. Blade width, 1.625. That's right. It's a thick blade. For a blade this length, that is a very thick blade, and I can absolutely appreciate the hell out of that. I freaking love it. Let's see. The edge angles are 20 degrees. Important to know when you need to resharpen. Although I tell you this right now, I'll tell you this right now. None of I have the 9 and I have the 7. I don't find myself sharpening too much. These things hold an edge pretty damn well. 1095, 01, 493. Let's see. It's a combat knife, they say, but really it's not a combat knife, even though I could combat the hell out of this knife. This is without a doubt a beautiful camp knife. Beautiful camp knife. The handle material is called Ultramid. What that means is plastic. The sheath, country of origin, comes from Taiwan. So I don't know why they do all this here in the sheaths in Taiwan. I have no idea. I don't know where these handle scales are made either. The blade length, 5.25 inches. Perfect. Doesn't I think for a camp knife, I think the perfect blade length for a camp knife is 6 inches. This is 5.25. You're pretty close. The shape is a drop point. 1095 Crovan. 56 to 58 Rockwell hardness, and obviously it gives 2 blade thicknesses, 1/4 inch thick, even though it's a little different than that. All right, so the website contradicts itself. So this thing, I have to say, what makes up for the crappy plastic a little, and I mean just a little, is the fact that they keep the coating, this rough coating, on the edge of the tang all the way around, which offers you almost a little bit of grip. The problem is when you put your hand around it, that's not really touching too much of the hand, because right here is making a teepee, so that part of your hand isn't against here unless you have really dinky little hands. But if I reverse my grip, now I'm talking. You see that? I can turn it, but it's a lot harder to turn the blade when I put it in a reverse grip, and that's your combat grip. But still, these really need to be reworked. I do not like them. Let's even though I'm running out of arm hair because of the last knife tests, I have never had a Becker or K-Bar come to me that didn't shave the hair off the arms. And I'm not going because it hasn't shaved. I'm going because I'm shaving the entire inside of my forearm, and I'll show you what I mean. As I slice my wrists here. Yeah. I'm talking that entire inside of my forearm is completely smooth. Look at that. Look at freaking that. I gotta stuff this hair inside the box because I don't want to just leave it in my library. Someday you come read about my arm hair. All right, so there we go. There we go. Tuck that away for future use. I can make a bird's nest, or if my arms ever go bald, I can just glue back on. So, man, that is smooth. Look at this. You can see the hair all around it. You can see the hair up here and the hair down here. Right here, that is smooth. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, so I think we need to take this thing outside and go see what kind of damage we can cause. As far as what this thing is going to be good for, this is going to be your all-around camp knife. Oh, remember that the abrasive coating, good for striking a very good match. If you have a bad match, it might not work. I have some, I want to try it. But I have these fire sticks that come with an end that you're supposed to scratch on sandpaper that comes on the box and it lights up. I want to try to do that, and we'll see if we can't get that to light. But outside of that, this thing is made to be great for processing. You can skin with it, even though it's a 1/4 inch thick. You can skin with it, and you can definitely do your wood processing. You can do your meat processing. And a lot of people say, "Oh, don't process meat because there's a black coating. Black coating's cancerous." Guess what? I didn't just get cancer. Here's the deal. You have to peel this stuff off and then eat a whole bunch of it before it's ever going to be bad for you. Cutting through a hot dog or a piece of steak and then eating it, don't listen to these people with these freaked out minds, okay? Telling you that if you cut a piece of meat and you eat it with this knife, you're going to die, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, outside of a lot of other dumb things I've heard. Okay, so let's go. All right, so let's short knife, so it's not going to spin around that great, but let's do some 4-foot drop tests. Falls nice and straight. You know what? Let's do this. I usually do a little puncture test. I'm going to do a 4-foot drop and see if I can puncture through. Here's the tip right there. So just doing a drop, not a throw, a drop, and I'm able to pierce the leather skin of that ball. And how well did it drop? Just like that. It is perfectly weighted. Let's see how well these scales are on there. Dogs are going crazy because they see a squirrel. Oh man, that has got some, wow, the wound channel is pretty sweet. Oh my gosh. Ugh. How thick is, how sweet is that? Look at how much blade just went into there. And it can't hide it. It leaves a mark. Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to get that fire stick. Hold on. All right, so if you guys are all outdoorsmen, here's a good shot. You've seen these before, right? It's a little fire starter, but it's got this red end. And it's made to scrape. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to work because these are really old. I've had these in there for a few years, but we'll see. Who knows? Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. I think it's just going to leave a bunch of red marks on my blade. Yeah, it works better with a matchstick, a good matchstick, but it was worth a shot. It was worth a shot. I wanted to see if that would go at all. Let's see. I wonder if it's just going to scrape off. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work on here. I had high hopes for that too. I had high hopes. I mean, really, like 6 feet high. All right, so let's try and get some of this wood. Now, here's one thing I hate about the texturing, and I love the texturing, is all these wood chips, because it's so textured, they just stick in there. So it's a pain in the butt to clean it up afterward. All right, so let's have us some fun here. Being a 5 1/4 inch blade, obviously you can't baton through something too thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a small angle on this guy, get as much as I can, just so you can see that processing wood is easy. It can be done. It's no problem. Oh yeah. So now you know you can go piece by piece and take down the whole thing. Dog's going crazy over that squirrel. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I missed. It was at an angle. I missed. I don't know if you could hear that. He's over there winding up a storm. All right, there we go. There we go. So, I mean, when you're talking about camping, you have the need to make firewood. And when you're making firewood, one of the things you need to do is make pieces that are small and right. Also, if you're building things, I mean, anything. Hey! If you're building anything from hold on a second, damn dogs. Woo! My lady's a frontline nurse. She works third shift and she just went to sleep. Dogs are out here barking at squirrels. All right, so here we go. Here we go. So yeah, so I mean, even if I wanted to make, you know, wider, thin pieces, it's good for even making shingles if you're doing yourself a some kind of little camp cabin where you're gonna be camping for over a week or whatever, you know. Just gives you something to work with, as long as you can process. I mean, you see how easy and fast it goes. It's a really big help to be able to process wood down to a point where now I know I can stack them in any way I want. Bring out my ferro rod, get a little fluff going, and that's something we're going to see if we can't do with this knife, is break it down even more. And I think it's going to be no problem. So here we go. We have enough pieces now to where we can start a fire. We can start a fire. So now we need some thin pieces that are going to catch and hold a flame. And we're going to have no problem getting all those with this knife. I think you guys are in the shot, yeah. So I'm just knocking them all down right here on top of my log. I'm not keeping them on there. We're just peeling and scraping and giving myself a whole bunch of really nice fire catcher. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some pullbacks, and I'm going to keep them on the stick. So what will happen is when you make your fire, you lay down your stick in there, and this little area right here is going to catch really nice, and it'll help ignite the rest of the stick just by doing things like that, right? So now what I'll do is I'll spin it around and I'll come back the other way. And a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people just keep it in one direction because there's a couple good songs there. Just a couple. But so now I have this, and it's going to create air going all the way through, and it's going to make really nice. Now I wasn't going to do a fire, but I figure I have all this, so why not? Hold on, let me go get the ferro rod. All right, so as you can see, this thing's a bit used. Every fire I light in my house, in the fireplace, or when camping, I only use ferro rods. I don't like to use matches and things like that. So let's, I have this cardboard box here, and what I'm doing is setting up all my fluff and everything inside the cardboard box, all these little pieces, and I'm going to take that stick with all these on it. I'm going to throw it in there. Don't worry, I'll get it back into focus here, or into play. And I'm going to grab all these tiny little pieces that I've been cutting up, and I'm going to add those to the mix. just because I want it to be a good stick. I want this fire to stay. And I have all these here gathered up, and I've got that little fire starter stick thing, and I'm going to use that too. So now I have all that stuff in there. What I'm going to do is, a lot of people like to use the spine, right, to strike a spark. But why? You have this little piece right here next to the ricasso that you don't use for anything. Nobody uses that part of the blade. So I like to use that. Trying to do it standing up. There we go. Here we go. All right, come on, light. I'm going to use that little fire starter there. Hopefully I can catch it. Hopefully. Come on. That little S stick I had is burning really good. So it looks like we have some success in getting this fire started. I'll use some of this cardboard, even though I'm on cardboard, just to keep it going. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this right into the fire pit as is, and that's a good thing about that. All right, you guys still there? The guy just walked away. All right, let's take you with let's take you with me here. All right, so obviously you can see the fire is burning. Now I'm just going to take all my little pieces that I just cut, and I'm going to stack it in kind of like a star shape, 1, 1, 1, 1, like that. And I'll show you what I mean. I keep that part open. Ooh, that's warm. So this is what I'm doing. You can see that shape there. I'm just kind of laying them across multi-directional and giving myself a nice little fire start, and that's going to be good. And then I can throw all the rest of it out on there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do that. I'm going to start piling sticks on. All right, hold on. Did I tell you it's a good camp knife? Just like that, we have fire. Took a ferro rod and a Becker BK2. Man, that fire is warm. All right, let's get back to the knife. All right, so I told you that it can be used for skinning. So let's take some of that pelt we had, and let's see if we can't. Ooh, man. See if we can't open that up a little bit. Oh my. So, do you think you can get through an animal's hide and take it apart? Yep. I think that would be no problem. All right, even though we just did a bunch of work, we did a bunch of little banging on it, let's see if we can do a push cut on the nylon rope. I'd say that was pretty successful. Man, this thing's all right. Okay, let's take off this tip here. Let's take off this tip and make a new one. All right, so now we're gonna come down. Just gonna spin the stick around. Telling you guys, this is a great camp knife. Slightly longer in the blade, and it's a perfect camp knife. I mean, look at the short work it makes of this. Now you got to make tent spikes, pit spikes. You know what I mean? You got to trap food. You want to make spears or arrows or anything like that. Easy money. That was fast. That was fast. Let's take all these pieces. We'll throw them right there in the fire right behind us. A little something extra to burn. Now let's try and D-tip. And there's our tip. Still stuck in the wood. All right. let's do some more chops, except on something bigger. Oh, you know, we have one right here. We have one right freaking here. So let's use this guy right here. Now, being a shorter knife, what I'm going to do is I'm going to middle finger, the swell at the end, and we are going to chop. And by holding it lower, you just turned a 5-inch blade into a 7-inch blade, all right? And it chops. Woo, chops very well. Chops very, very well. So well, I just got chips in the eye. I guess that's why they tell you to wear safety goggles. But I don't do that kind of thing because I like to keep it interesting. All right, so look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is just a short amount of chopping. Look at that. It's just raining pieces of wood. So I mean, you're talking about a blade here, 5 1/4 inches long. You can baton with it. You can feather stick with it. You can shave with it. You can skim with it. You can chop with it, right? I mean, you could light a fire with it. And here's the thing, the ferro rod strike. Do you see any damage right there? Guys, don't be afraid to use. A lot of times what will happen is you'll get a little miscoloring where you strike a ferro rod from because it's hot, right? So you get a little miscoloring. It's not doing anything. So especially right here on this little tip, start a little fire with that. That's not being used for anything, but guess what that is? That is an amazing, amazing area to hit a ferro rod with. It works perfectly every single time. So I'm telling you, don't be afraid to use that for that. There's a lot of other purposes you can use different parts for. We're gonna find out what we can use the tip for. All right, let's see. Oh, that was so close. I was right there. I think I needed to back up a little bit more. Oh, yes, I did. That's all I needed. That's all I threw the snot out of that one too. I kind of threw it hard. Oh, I stepped closer and took off some of the swing. But look at that. I just stepped back to where I was before, threw it hard, and look at this. If you can't get much more centered than that, and it's in there. I really threw it, but look at this wound channel. Look at that. Insane. How's the fire looking? We're still doing good. It's nice and warm over here, so let's close out this video talking about the Becker BK2 right here. This thing is a fantastic, and I mean fantastic, camp knife. If there's anything in the camp area that this thing can't do, you know, mail me, tell me, show me. I want to know, because so far everything about this knife has been able to produce camp quality work, right? I mean, it's just perfect. It's perfect. Might I put on some new scales? I might. Maybe do something else to them. I don't know. I did some athletic tape, hockey stick tape on my 7, and it's fantastic that way. The tape is thin. It's not like tennis racket tape, which is way too thick. Changes everything about the grip of your knife, and I hate that. I hate when you're making that grip too bulbous at that point, where this one is already right sized. It's just bad material. It's even right contoured, just bad material. But there's ways to make the grip better, but honestly, you don't really need to. For me, it's just personal preference, because I hate the smooth texture. I mean, what's the point, you know? But this thing is an absolute workhorse. This is a knife that gets it done 24/7. It's thick, it's strong, it's just the right way, it's balanced right. And there's, you know, when you're talking about campsites and you're talking about can I survive in the woods, you need a blade that can do everything we just did. And this blade does everything we just did. So that's it. This is the Becker BK2. I'm Donnie B all day. Until next knife.